What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for a Smackdown review for February the 19th, 2021. We are on our way to WrestleMania, but first, we have the Elimination Chamber coming to you this Sunday from Tropicana Field on the WWE Network this Sunday, with two chamber matches, one for the WWE Championship, and the other one for a right to face Roman Reigns that very night. Now, we start the show off with Edge coming out. Why is Edge here? I don't fucking know. He already told us 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, that he's not making a decision until after the Elimination Chamber. So why is he here? Well, the reason Edge was here is that I know a lot of people are complaining, and a lot of people have seen it online, that Edge has creative control over his character and what he does in WWE. And honestly, of course, he's earned that right with being a legend and being somebody who's been in this business for so long. But he's been using his power for himself and not putting anybody else over, which, honestly, in my opinion, is selfish as fuck. So WWE had Edge here tonight talking to many participants in the Elimination Chamber, putting them over as hot, like some of the best in the business and all this stuff. And it's like, this is how they're going to have Edge put people over. It's all cool and everything to have like a legend come in and talk you up and talk good things about you, but that only goes so far. You really want Edge to put somebody over, he needs to be in the ring with them, putting them over in more ways than one. Having Edge just come in and be like, oh man, you're awesome, what you do is great, you have fire, not too many people have fire right now. It's only going to go so far. It's not really going to make anybody see, oh, well, he's saying good things about Daniel Bryan, so Daniel Bryan's definitely a bigger star out of it. No. Get this guy in the ring with other guys and have them have great matches, win, lose, draw, whatever, but have him go out there, give and take as much as he can from somebody, and just, yeah, there's better ways to do that. But he comes out, he's hyped for this Sunday's pay-per-view, out comes Edge, they stare each other down, Reigns slowly enters the ring. Edge mentioned something about there's 13 possible opponents after the Elimination Chamber, but Roman's like, there's only one, and that's going to be me. Somebody who's been a 4-time, could have been a 5-time, could be a 6-time WrestleMania main eventer. Edge could pick a main eventer, or he could pick the main event. And Edge talks about how he saw Reigns lose his cool a couple weeks ago, which is rare. Edge realized Reigns needs him to be in the main event. If Edge faces AJ Styles, if he comes out of the chamber, I beat him. That's the main event. Drew McIntyre, main event. Kofi Kingston, all these other guys, main event. So, yes, that was where they're going with that, is that pretty much, yes, Roman Reigns could not, if Roman Reigns loses, are you kidding me? Whether Roman Reigns faces Edge or not, Roman Reigns is main eventing night 1 or night 2. If he's Universal Champion going into the pay-per-view, Roman Reigns is main eventing WrestleMania for the 5th time in his career. Is it a little overdone? Yes, but it could be worse. He says he sees in Reigns' eyes his insecurity. Gives him some praise, but he says he's cracking under the pressure, and Edge hasn't even focused on him yet, and asks Reigns if he really wants him to test his armor and focus on him. Show the kinks, show your weaknesses. Is that what you want? And out comes Sami Zayn. He starts ranting about WWE respecting him every week. But to be disrespected by two of the biggest stars, that's something else. Edge is acting like Sami can't make it to WrestleMania. Please, Sami, you have no chance. That's something else. And Reigns is worried about Edge. He's not seeing the other threats in front of him. Sami's in the ring ranting about Edge and Reigns. Sami wants his moment right now. Calls for his cameraman to get this iconic shot of him pointing at the WrestleMania sign. He says, make no mistake about it, he's going to WrestleMania. Uso super kicks Sami's head off and goes down. Reigns hands Heyman his title and he steps to Edge as the fake fans boo. He whispers something to Edge's ear, then backs off and nods, showing Edge he's stepping to him away from him in peace. We have no idea what Reigns said to Edge. Reigns, Heyman, or Uso all exit the ring as his music hits. So, yeah, that is going to be what you have. I still don't understand why WWE wants to go with Edge versus Reigns at WrestleMania. I just don't get it. Of course, like I said, the tentative plans going into WrestleMania last year was Randy Orton versus Edge for the WWE Championship. That's why Randy Orton won the WWE title in the first place. But then somewhere down the line, Vince McMahon went, well, I really don't want to do that match anymore, so I'm going to do Randy Orton versus The Fiend instead. That looks like what we're going to at WrestleMania, as we've seen over the last few weeks with everything. But yeah, Edge facing Roman Reigns still doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's a stupid idea. But yes, Edge is going to wait till after the Elimination Chamber. So again, no reason to have Edge here. We shouldn't see Edge again. We shouldn't have seen Edge again until Sunday, Monday, or Friday of next week. Plain and simple. Apollo Crews versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This match is happening because last week, Apollo Crews came out to try and accept Big E's open challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. Big E told him, I'm done with you. I've beaten you 3 times. Get back to catering. So Shinsuke Nakamura came out to be Big E's next opponent. They were having a really good match until Apollo Crews got involved and drop-kicked Big E out of nowhere. So we have this match, and Big E's sitting at ringside on a couch with a mini fridge, a snack tray, a Lunchable, one of those Hungry Man meals that he just mixed all together and doesn't even eat, and his feet in a foot massage machine. Man, it must be nice to have that kind of luxury, man, being Intercontinental Champion. He's living more lavishly on WWE television than Roman Reigns is. But basically, the gist of this story is that Apollo Crews is just losing again and again and again. He's being a big loser. And Big E was right about one thing. It's like, even if he beat Shinsuke tonight, no, he does not deserve another championship opportunity. This dude has had 3 title shots. How many title shots does one person get? I mean, we can say the same thing about Kevin Owens. He's had 3 shots, and here he is with a 4th shot, possible 4th opportunity coming this Sunday. But again, this just, and it's like he's becoming more of a prick, more of an asshole, because he wants to be an Intercontinental Champion, which if you want to be champion, that's fine. That's something that everybody wants to be. You come to the WWE to win championships. But Apollo Crews, he's had 1 U.S. title run in his 5 years, and so far he has had nothing else going for him. So German suplexes for a 2 count by Nakamura. Nakamura with the super kick while Crews is down. Kicks while Crews is down. Charles, but Crews catches him with the spine buster for a 2. Crews stuns Nakamura with an enziguri. Nakamura avoids the military pressure, drops Crews into an armbar, easily turns it into a pinning combination. 1, 2, 3. And Apollo Crews loses to Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, after the match, he quickly recovers, attacks Nakamura from behind, beats him up, tosses him out to the outside, goes to grab the stairs. Big E gets in his face and is like, dude, drop him and walk. You're lost. You're an embarrassment. You lost. Get out of here. You've done enough. Get out. Be a man. Stop with this bullshit. So, initially, Apollo Crews drops the stairs. Then he attacks Big E from behind with the stairs, along with Nakamura, and then clotheslines Nakamura over the top rope. Throws the chairs into the ring, tosses Big E into the ring, grabs the chairs, grabs the stairs, goes to attack Big E, but the ref gets in the way. Big E rolls to the outside. Apollo Crews still has the stairs up above his head. The referee tells him to drop him. So he walks over to where Big E is supposedly at and drops him outside. Here's 2 problems. 1, it was off camera, so you know it didn't really hit Big E. 2, on the replay, they show Big E rolling out of the ring and laying over near the ring post towards the announce team, closest to the announce table. Apollo Crews drops the stairs over by over close to the opposite side of the ring post closest to the stage. So he dropped it, and one or two things happened. Either Big E rolled into the ring, under the ring, so Apollo Crews could drop it, but you could hear that it didn't hit Big E because you heard it hit the mat, hit the ground. Or two, he missed Big E completely. Yet they wanted to make it look like he dropped him on Big E, which obviously did not happen. We come back from break. They show what happened with Apollo Crews and his vitriol and what he did. And then we see Big E being loaded onto a stretcher and sent out. So WWE in this week has done 2 stretcher jobs. They did one on right after NXT went off the air with Kyle O'Reilly, and then they do one here. Why would you do the same spot twice? This just is another case of WWE showing and proving that NXT is not the third brand. It is still a developmental brand. Because do you think you would do a stretcher job? I mean, hell, they took Roman Reigns out of the Elimination Chamber and put him where he'll defend his title against the winner of the Elimination Chamber because they didn't want to have it make it feel like they're copying Raw with Smackdown. So why would you copy what you did on NXT with Smackdown? Explain that one to me. Just terrible booking overall. Out comes Seth Rollins. He stops and watches Intercontinental Champion Big E being taken away. Cole mentions Rollins wrote a letter to WWE management. Rollins says that was a tragedy. What happened to Big E being betrayed by your friend is a tragedy, and he would know about that because last week every single one of his so-called friends walked away from him and betrayed him. We get a video package of his talking last week. We come back from the video and Rollins is still on the stage, fans are booing. Rollins says this was an emotional trauma last week. He's still suffering and is unacceptable at the workplace or anywhere. He had to do something about it. So he and his lawyers drafted up a letter of a formal complaint. It was been delivered by WWE officials and is pending, but they are going to win. He says he can't see this letter. You can't see this letter on his Twitter. It says months and months of planning went into his big SmackDown return, but it was ruined, not by his friends, by a bunch of losers and cowards who ruined it because they're afraid. They want to divide us, and they know there are already millions and millions of us out there who have already embraced the vision for a better tomorrow, a better SmackDown. Really, Seth, how can anyone embrace the vision when we don't even know what this vision is? He says the biggest loser of them all was Cesaro because he took his homecoming, their moment, and he made it about himself. He disrespected me, patronized me, stayed behind when everyone else was just left just to look at Rollins in the eyes and disrespect me. And what happened to Cesaro is not on Rollins' hands. As far as he's concerned, he asked for it, and that will happen to every single person who stands in our way. Anyone who follows in Cesaro's footsteps because we are strong, powerful, we are winners, tells everyone to embrace the vision as the fake boos get louder. And says thank you and good night. And that was it. By the way, anybody want to know where Aaliyah and Murphy was? Why did Murphy show up on SmackDown last week and not be recognized or anything? Well, apparently WWE dropped the storyline for basically the only reason that it makes sense. Because they didn't know where to take it. They got them two together and had no idea where to take it. Partly because Aaliyah wasn't pursuing an in-ring career, and they really had nothing else for it. They got the goal of Aaliyah, shacking up with him getting the trust of the Mysterious family, then after that, they were like, well, what do we do now? They got all the goals, but just didn't have any idea what to do after that. So, up next, we had the Riot Squad versus Natalya and Tamina Snuka. Billie Kay comes out, ruins the match. Tamina catches Riot with a big side slam, and that was that. She came in the ring, tried to celebrate with Natalya and Tamina. They want nothing to do with her and drop her in the middle of the ring. Natalya bases Tamina's arm. They look on as Liv and Riot can cover at ringside. So, can we keep this stupid bitch off of my television? Billie Kay has done nothing for the women's division. She and Peyton Royce killed the women's tag team titles because WWE put them out there as tag team champions because they wanted to have a feud with the Bellas, but that never happened. Now she's out here taking liberties, trying to get involved and be with Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. Now she's trying to screw them. All things under the sun, and it's fucking pathetic. It's so goddamn annoying. Then we get the ding dong hello stuff. Don't really give a shit. All I'm going to say is that with the women's tag team champions, Reginald came out, Sasha Banks came out, and Bianca Belair all came out. Made it a 6-person tag match. So, yeah, Reginald is now wrestling women because, fuck it all, I don't have a goddamn clue. I mean, what he did with Sasha Banks a couple weeks ago was absolutely entertaining and something I don't think WWE was going to do again. Well, not much to talk about the match. Belair and Sasha, Reginald was caught up in looks like it was going to be some kind of big power move by Nia Jax. She gets double drop kicked by the other two, by Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, and Reginald gets the pin on Nia Jax. So, yes, Reginald pinned Nia Jax. So Reginald, Sasha Banks, and Bianca Belair get the win. So, at the Elimination Chamber, it will be Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair versus the Women's Tag Team Champions for the Tag Team Championships. Holy shit. Wow. Kayla Braxton is backstage. She is with Cesaro. She brings up Seth Rollins' comments from earlier. Cesaro wasn't patronizing him. He was respecting him just like everyone else. He was hoping the old Rollins come back. He's known Rollins for years. His skills, accomplishments, and everyone knew he had the chance to come back and make an impact, but instead he came back as the same smug, condescending SOB that he was before. That's why everyone walked away from him last week. So Cesaro hasn't forgotten about what Rollins did, but he needs to focus on tonight, the 6-man tag match. Then winning the Elimination Chamber, and then going to win the Universal title from Roman. Edge walks up. He doesn't know what he has gotten into Cesaro lately, but he admires his grit and says, not many people still have it. Cesaro thanks him, mentions after he wins at the pay-per-view, he will be seeing Edge at WrestleMania, and walks off as Edge watches. Again, that's what they're doing. They're having Edge come in, talking to Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin, about what's good about them and trying to prop them up. And this is how they're having Edge put people over, and it's not going to work. That's not how you put people over. You can talk all fucking day about how good somebody is, but that's not how you put them over in a good way. The Mysterios versus the Alpha Academy was next. This was not a really long match. I thought this was going to be one of those matches that was going to take us up to about 20 minutes left in the show, and then we'd have our main event. But Otis tags in, Dominic charges, but Otis levels him with a big shoulder. Otis goes for Ray as he tags in, flies off the senton. Otis turns it right back around. Otis stands over Ray and drops a splash in the middle of the ring. Dominic charges, but Otis levels him with a big double axe handle, sending him out to the floor. Gable comes in and coaches Otis as the referee warns them. Otis drops in another splash on the Ray as Gable coaches him. The referee calls for the match, apparently because they didn't listen to the count. After the bell, the referee calls over to check on Ray, but Gable and Otis aren't done and are ignoring him. Gable drags Ray over to the corner, and Otis hits a big splash from the top second turnbuckle, and Otis looks to have turned heel as he hulks up, stands over. Ref checks on Ray while the Alpha Academy celebrates. Dominic is still down on the floor, and we go to replays. Gable continues hyping Otis up, saying, "That's my guy." So, yeah. Rey Mysterio just got destroyed by Otis under the guise of the supervision of Chad Gable. I know Chad Gable's been trying to corrupt Otis over the last few weeks, months maybe. But yeah, it looks like Otis has turned heel. I don't know how long that's going to last, but it looks like Otis as a heel is coming, as it is now. Edge talks to Daniel Bryan. Not much else you can say about that. Kevin Owens interrupts Cesaro and Daniel Bryan in the back, asking if they want to talk strategy. Bryan says, yeah, we were discussing, wondering if we were going to get stunners during this match. Cesaro says Owens would never turn on them, but they sarcastically talked about how Owens has turned in the past. Owens gets it. He says last week he interrupted a big fight and decided to strike when he saw both of them coming for him. Owens says they don't have to worry about a stunner tonight because they're on the same team, and he really wants to win tonight, but on Sunday, they do have to worry about several stunners. Owens walks off, and Cesaro says, oh, at least he's honest. Carmella is doing her makeup backstage when Reginald comes in with some wine or something. And she's like, where were you at just now? And he's like, I had to make sure that it was the right proper temperature, and it was a good serving thing. And she's like, are we just gonna play games? He's like, no games. Do you really think I didn't just see you out there in the ring? He says, it's not how it looks. She says, relax. I'm not mad. I understand. I know you'll do the right thing, because if you don't, let's just hope it doesn't come to that. Takes a sip of the wine, spits it out, and then tosses the rest in Reginald's face. Can't believe he's serving her this disgusting shit and needs a better glass, and he walks off. So, will Reginald do the right thing and cost Carmella the championship whenever she gets another chance? Because you know that's coming. Or will Reginald do the right thing and cost Carmella the championship? Who knows? Obviously, it looks like that's where they're going with this. That Reginald's going to his partnership with Carmella is not going to be very much longer. I could probably 100% be wrong, but that is yet to be seen. Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Jey Uso versus Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, and Kevin Owens, and of course, we had to have Edge and Paul Heyman on commentary this entire match. No, thank you. Match didn't go. Match went about. They had a lot of time for this match. The match started at like 35 after. There was 25 minutes left in the show. I was like, holy shit, they're gonna give these guys a lot of time. Really good match here. Owens runs off the apron with a cannonball to the Uso to the floor. Bryan kicks away, and Sami gets kicks by Sami, but Sami ducks a roundhouse kick, which everyone seems to duck that nowadays. Bryan kicks out at 2. Sami comes right back at him with a blue thunder bomb, but Cesaro breaks up the pin. Corbin tosses Cesaro to the floor. Owens drops Corbin, who drops Cesaro at ringside. Sami goes to the top, but Bryan cuts him off and climbs up, hits a double underhook suplex keeps a hold of his arm, rolls it right into the labella lock / yes lock, and he taps him out for that. So the babyface team wins. After the match, Corbin hits Bryan with the end of days. Let's see here. Owens then runs in, hits a stunner on Corbin. Sami runs in, hits a big exploder on Owens. Cesaro runs over and nails a big uppercut to Sami. Cesaro turns around and he a super kick from Uso. Edge then hits the ring, delivers a big spear to Uso for a top. Universal Champion Roman then appears out of nowhere and hits and spear on Edge. Reigns stands tall over Edge, looking down at him and yelling. Heyman enters the ring and hands the Universal title to Reigns. Reigns puts the title on Edge's face and taunts him, then raises the title in the air. We get a fake you suck chant. Reigns stands tall. The final Smackdown before the Elimination Chamber goes off the air, with Edge laying victim to him. So that was SmackDown. It was decent. Could have been a little bit better. I'm so over the Apollo Crews stuff. I don't like the thing with Apollo Crews is we've seen for 5 years WWE say that this guy is not worth a damn. And now all of a sudden we're supposed to take this guy serious as a threat to either Big E, Roman Reigns, or anybody. Give me a fucking break. Again, Billie Kay, get that fucking bitch off my TV. She is useless. Now, the Elimination Chamber coming up this Sunday. We have 5 matches. We were supposed to have a 6th match, but it got canceled because of a woman's pregnancy. So, first match, we're going to have Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. This is going to probably lead to Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are winning, no problem. Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens versus Corbin versus Sami Zayn versus Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan. Winner in the Elimination Chamber gets a Universal Championship during this night. I really do not have a clue. I'm going to have two options of this. Kevin Owens or Daniel Bryan is going to win this. Why else would you wouldn't have Jey Uso win, even though I know that Paul Heyman teased that maybe we could have that match again. Corbin and Zayn, not a chance. Cesaro would be great too. I just don't see WWE going that way. But Kevin Owens, it seems like too many. He's already had 3 shots. So you know what? I would say Cesaro or Daniel Bryan gets this win. No doubt about it. Then they go to Roman Reigns, and of course Roman Reigns is winning. Bobby Lashley versus MVP versus Keith Lee versus Matt Riddle. This could end up becoming a singles match because there's talk about Keith Lee being injured. But if Keith Lee's not injured, I still say Bobby Lashley wins. I say Bobby Lashley keeps the championship going into WrestleMania, and that's where he's going to drop the championship. So Bobby Lashley's going to win. Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton versus Sheamus versus Kofi Kingston. Drew McIntyre is winning this. Absolutely no other reason for him to actually lose this championship right away. The only reason Drew McIntyre loses this championship is if they swerve us all, give it to Randy Orton so they can have Edge pick Randy Orton, and you can have Randy Orton versus Edge at WrestleMania, which was the plan from the start. So, Drew McIntyre wins. Bobby Lashley wins his match. I'm going to say Cesaro or Daniel Bryan wins their match at the Elimination Chamber. Roman beats either one of those two. And Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler beat Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Because, quite honestly, there's absolutely no reason for the women's champion on SmackDown and Bianca Belair, the opponents who are going to be facing each other at WrestleMania, having a match, having the tag team titles going into WrestleMania. And again, Lacey Evans versus Asuka was supposed to happen, but Lacey Evans got pregnant, and yeah, she's gone for the bulk of the year. She'll be gone for the majority of the rest of the year. But that is your SmackDown review and Elimination Chamber predictions. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter. Find me at Minds at the France Club. Fuck Twitter. Find me on twitch.tv/the France Club. Find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I will see you guys on Sunday for the Elimination Chamber. Until then, my name is the France, and I'll see you guys later.